I didn't see them every day, even after I started taking the metro more than I needed to. Even when I found myself riding buses out of the way in the evenings. But they were there often enough. Seeing one would set my teeth on edge, make my palms sweaty, and my foot feel dry. If you ever gave a speech, you might recognize this feeling. Even though they didn't pay me the slightest bit of attention, I felt like I was one on display for them. I could see in them, plain as day. How could they miss me? They didn't though, not in any way that I could tell. And when eventually my curiosity overpowered my fear, I decided to follow one. I chose the one that I found first. The man in the afternoon subway who always kept the same seat. I got on and took a seat behind him. We rode to the end of the line, and he took the seat nearby bench. As expressionless as always, I turned a corner and waited, trying to look. After a few minutes, the next metro arrived, and I watched him enter it, and saw him take the same seat. I couldn't find the nerve to follow him again. He hadn't gone anywhere. He just rode the metro to the end of the line. And then what? Rode it back? What possible reason would anyone have for that? It nagged at me long after I had rode later train back home and tried to get some rest. I couldn't leave it alone, not until I could make some sense of it. I found myself more than confused. I was downright angry. Now. Why was this uncanny bastard, this most inhuman person riding the subway train back and forth, going nowhere? The mind I once read recoils from certain things, because very sight of them is an effort. Spiders set it off in a lot of people, particularly the great big ones. They just look wrong to us, alien. That was the effect the stranger were beginning to have on me. They offended my senses. I followed him again the next day, and again the day after that. Every day for the last week, the two of us made silent trips together. Though only I knew it. By the end of the week, I was following him for hours, until the last train that stopped at a near apartment block. That night, we rode from one end of the city to the other, then back again. I wasn't people watching any longer. I was person watching, stalker watching. I didn't have eyes on anyone else, though I noticed more than a few confused glances set my way. Other than that, we two might have been the only two people in the planet for all I cared. I lost my job the next week. My manager was kind and timid but firm. I was concentrating. I had no focus. Wasn't being anywhere near productive. I was actually quite a speech. I think, but I could barely hear it. All I could think about was my new work, my what would that mean? No, that thing on the subway. Get up to when I wasn't there. What would he do when I wasn't there? What would he do when I wouldn't keep an eye on him? I left work for the last time at noon that day. Normally, I'd have started telling my subject the 5:30, following my subject at 5:30, but I was sure that he was waiting for me. I wish now that I'd pay more attention to that day. Was it sunny? It was summer after all. I could have walked around downtown, maybe checked a few pretty girls. Could I have an iced cappuccino and a smoke and an outdoor caf, and then gone home, put my growing obsession out of my head, found a new job, taking the reading on the train, buses again. I didn't though, and my silent demands were answered. Not the first trip around, or the second, or the third, or the 10th. We rode far into the night together, and at, and we weren't answered. Not the first trip around, the second trip, not the third, not the 10th. We rode far into the night together, and at each terminal, we got out together and waited. I sat right beside him on the bench, watching him from the corner of my eye, and still got nothing from him, but two could play at this game as well. The stranger didn't move. The subway rolled on. The anticipation grew in me. The car emanated outground us slowly until I was just two silent watchers below the city. I fought to keep a mannequin grin at bay. At the subway train slowed and crawled, then stopped at the end of the line. The stranger didn't move, still didn't react at all. The car door stood still, doors open. I could dimly hear the last few stragglers making their way out of the section nowhere behind us. Footsteps echoing in the silence. Nothing. The speaker system dimmed to let everyone half asleep know that we'd reached the terminal. Still nothing. And finally I could hear footsteps again. A conductor or something popping its head into each car to make sure they're empty before taking the train wherever the hell it goes for the night. I didn't take off my silent query. I managed to see the conductor from the corner of my eye when he finally reached our car. He looked in. His eyes roamed over us, and the puzzled look came over his face. He blinked a few times and paused. I waited for him to speak at the moment stretched out, and then, with a silent shake of the head, he left us. There was a car ahead of ours, and I heard him stop to check that too. And then a few minutes later, the train started up again. We rode for a time, and then looped around the subway was parked. I could see into the windows of more trains on either side of us, and though their opposing windows into even more.